get underway. Back into game one, we had some technical difficulties, unfortunately, but
Happens all the time.
happens all the time. We're gonna kick off where we left off. A very, very close early game between St. Clair and Western. What are you thinking for the rest of this game? As there's gonna be a team fight right as we kick it off. They're gonna go on the Zinzao, who has the ultimate popped, will fall down. Now the Aphelios under so much pressure, but look at that ultimate picks up
Whoa!
a couple big kills, a huge play there by the Aphelios. Still, Saints are able to pick up that dragon, and the fight's going to extend a little bit. Dr. Calculus trying to look for a knockback, doesn't find it. Now he's in a lot of trouble as the Aphelios is going to be falling down. Cassante on to the Talia, will find that kill. It's only Miracle and Lig, but Lig with that Rage Blade doesn't have it yet. Almost has the Bork. Will pick up the last few kills here. Gets the shutdown. So much damage there for Lig, and in the end, it's a winning team fight for the Saints.
Yeah, plus Dragon going towards them. This is really what we were talking about with those team fights, right? Where the Saints, sometimes the early game doesn't look too good, but once they get that one team fight in, it's a lock. And this is what we were talking about, right? We saw that Moonlight Vigil from the Aphelios almost wiping the entirety of the Saints. The entire front line went away. But you had three survivors. Talia, Poppy, and Varus. And as long as your Varus is alive, you have a ton of potential DPS available, and we saw it take action there.
Maddie gonna sneak in, doesn't get the steal on the buff, but is this Zinzao a bit too egregious? Will be falling down first to the Olaf. Cassante, no ultimate, will get shredded down as well. A beautiful invade there by the Saints. They pick up a couple huge kills, and this is gonna swing the shift in their momentum heavily.
Yeah, so here, as we can see, the Saints have the momentum. They can go for those invades. They can get a little bit more cocky with their plays because they have that advantage. Atakan here, the flowers starting to spawn, so players need to kind of pick those up. Puppy getting some good damage in on that Rakan, just for a ward. It is crazy what. Oh, hold on here.
Engage onto Lig in the ball lane, but do they have enough damage to the Aphelios? Doesn't look like it. Miracle gonna find the kill onto the Rakan, and now so much damage goes onto this Aphelios, who's gonna fall to the Poppy as well. Turret gonna fall down in the top lane to Olaf, who's gonna be so fed now as they look to for a fight in the mid lane. Maddie doing so much damage to Swain, gonna flash in, but Maddie is gonna be able to slow that play down there. Turret drops in the ball lane. Overall, Saints stacking up their gold lead.
Yeah, speaking of kills on that Poppy, that's a 5-kill Poppy. There's only 3 on Varus. So, a little bit of stealing kills. It's fine, though. I mean, it's confirming the kill, you know? He still gets half the kill's worth at 150 gold. It's not that much of a difference at the end of the day. Like, as long as we get the kill, it's fine, right? It goes to the team. Plus, I mean, Poppy is there to peel for Varus, so tank your Poppy means more health going to protect the Varus, I guess. But here, yeah, Varus does have that Bork, does have the plated steel caps, which is interesting. And then we're seeing this Aphelios with collector first item. Okay, I don't like collector first item. Like, a lot of ADCs rush it, and I understand why, right? Because you get the extra 25 gold per kill. But, like, 25 gold per kill, does that really, like, excuse buying a collector in the early game? Like, I feel like it doesn't, right? You'd be so much better with, like, Yuntal's Wild Arrows, right? Which give you stacking crit over time. It's a great first item. It's got good attack speed. It's got good AD. Plus, you get that extra crit. Like, it has a lot of effect. But Collector doesn't do that. All it does is, yeah, okay, cool, you got a kill. Well, here's an execute, so it makes your kills easier to get, and 25 extra gold. Honestly, like, it's just not worth it, you know?
Here's the snowball from Maddie. Gonna hit onto the Aphelios, who flashes away. Gonna flash over, pops the ultimate, kills him mid-air. What a play there by Maddie to pick up a quick kill on the enemy ADC.
Yep, that Collector not finding much use now. But, yeah, as we were looking at here, we do have Maddie looking for the jungle again here as Ricky is just charging onto that Cassante, trying to get some damage down. I think Cassante just ulted over the wall there to get away. Because, again, Ricky is so menacing on that Olaf, right? and we can just see it here. They have the advantage. Look at this gold lead here at 35,000 versus 27. Um, it's so significant that at this point, Western is just trying to find a grip, trying to find some traction. Where can they find that extra gold? But it's going to be hard to find.
Yeah, it feels like Saints picked the snowball comp here, and they are snowballing all over the map. As Maddie can be able to pick up that blue buff is on a ward, but everyone from Western gets spotted out. A dragon fight going to be incoming here, but this Cassante has not channeled his teleport yet. Saints going to have the raw members right here, and looks like Western forced to back up. It doesn't even look like they want to contest it, as Maddie's flying through, finds the stun onto the Recon, who easily gets out, but it's going to be a free dragon here without contest for the side of the Saints.
Yeah, like, and this is what I was talking about, right? Western is so far behind, they can't put pressure on anything, because if they do, the Saints say, okay, cool, we're going to put our pressure and kill you. So you're looking at the Saints having that advantage and pushing that advantage, and here we go. They take the dragon, they take the Rift Herald. I'm betting you they're going to take Atakan too once it spawns in. Why? Because they have that pressure, they can snowball it, right? League of Legends is a snowball-oriented game. They are able to snowball it. They will win. And if we're looking at the boots here, I do believe that the Saints have the feats of strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, 75% win rate. Saints are probably going to win here.
Yeah, and such a big goal lead. It's going to take a lot of good fights here from Western to bring themselves back in this game, but might it just be a little bit too late? This 2-item Varus now can be so scary. Has the Rage Blade, has the Blade of the Ruin King, and on hit's going to be very hard to deal with. And Maddie has been finding these snowballs all the time, as looks like Saints want to push for this tier 2 up in the top lane. They're going to use the Rift Herald as well here. So they're going to look to take a lot more than just a tier 2. That one's going to fall very quickly. Can they get it before the Rift charges it? No, they won't. Some health suffer there, but here's going to be the second charge now. Onto this
in the bot lane, by the way, keeping that Cassante just completely tied up. He can't do anything. He can't come and help.
Yeah, he can't come help to give up that gold to that Olaf. That's the last thing they want to do, but Saints, they will happily fight the 4v4. Even number of fights, Saints will happily see. And now Maddie gonna snowball in, doesn't find anyone, and team fight kicks off. Miracle gets a nice W there. The ult onto the Swain, out of the team fight now. No front line here for the side of Western. They pick up the kill onto the Rakon. They're looking to chase down the rest of the team. Nice damage there from like the snowball. Is gonna connect onto the Swain, who flashes out. I think he'll be able to survive here under the turret. Isn't gonna get stunned up. But
the Varus arrow.
Good team fight here from the Saints. They pick up the inhibitor, and it looks like they are really blowing the base of Western wide open.
That whole time, Ricky's still in that bot lane. He's just holding the Cassante off. He says, "Okay, you want to stay here? I'm gonna stay here. We're gonna duke it out. We're gonna wait. We're gonna poke that tier 2 and just stay there." And this is what I'm talking about, right? Ricky's so ahead that they can't just let him take that tier 2, right? That's like 550 gold that you're just giving to the enemy team if you don't defend it. But because of that, they need to dedicate Cassante, right? Saints without Olaf, it's still a very fleshed out team composition, right? They can take the 4v4, the 4v5 if they really need to, and let that Olaf side lane. Western, not so much, right? Like, yeah, they do have some front line with the Xin Zhao and with the Swain, but it's not that big. And now with Atakan, they start taking it. This is, I'm betting you, uncontested.
Yeah, definitely doesn't look like Western should be in any state to contest this. If they do, I mean, I think Saints will just have another winning team fight. But yeah, they're just going to take this one. So much DPS with that Varus. That Nuna does so much damage. And it's going to be the flowers here, not going to be the GAs. Good either way. Atakan, a very strong boss to pick up at 20 minutes. And now with a 10k gold lead, Saints should definitely be playing towards the bot side of the map, try and pick up that tier 2 and really blow up the Nexus of Western quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even need Baron at this point. They're going to finish the game within the next 5 minutes. I'm guaranteeing you this. Just because the Saints are enough ahead to... Oh, hello, Maddie. just a little hello. You know, not hitting the emotes. But, like, yeah, you look at the gold lead. This is a 10k gold lead. You're not recovering from this. Not at this point in time. You're down on dragons, you're down on objectives in general, no feats of strength, you're playing on the defensive, and this is basically a guaranteed loss. Like, this is one UFF.
Yeah, it feels like just a matter of time. A nice stun there from Miracle as the Kasante flashes into the whole team, but Miracle gonna be able to hold off the front line, and nobody can get through here for this side of a Western. The Kasante gonna fall. Swain is next to fall, and now in the back line, Ricky does fall down, but the Recon gets traded out by Maddie, and with only Zinzao and Aphelios holding off the Saints here, I mean they could make game-winning push. I believe they have all 6 grubs as well, so these towers will fall in mere seconds. They get the top tier, the bot tier 3, sorry. They don't even want to hit the inhibitor because
No,
they already
have a wave.
have minions up in the base. And can they look to end here? They just need to full hit these towers with their grubs and they're going to be able to take them down. Only the Nexus left to take down. Western can't really walk in because so much damage there for the Saints, but the Saints will happily just hit away at this Nexus, and it looks like they're going to be able to get it down. St. Clair going to be taking game 1 in relatively dominant fashion.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we see a lot from the Saints, right? I said it before the game, and I'm going to say it after it. Early game, it can go either way. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But once the mid game comes around, once those team fights come around, it's all about communication, and the Saints have that, and they win their team fights because of it. And we saw it again today.
Yeah, great job there by the Saints. Taking uh, a real good first game here. I mean, let's take a look at the stats here. Uh, Not maybe the most bloodthirsty game ever,
No, for
22 to 12, but the macro of the Saints and the timing on their kills was so good. You could see kills spread out all across the board. A very, very great team performance there by the Saints, as Western just couldn't get anything going. I feel like that last pick, Swain, was just not that good for Western. I definitely don't think they're going to be picking it up again in game 2.
I have to point it out. The fact that Leg and Miracle have the same stat line is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, ADC support, nah, they do the exact same thing. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, looking at these stat lineups, you can see Maddie was everywhere. 10 assists. That is very, very good. Mainly as a jungler, right? He was everywhere. He was putting that pressure on. He was getting those kills, finding those picks when they were necessary, and just making sure that his ADC was getting that support that he needed. And we saw that follow through into the mid game and into the late game.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just a great game for the Saints, but they're going to look to do a bit more of the same very soon. We're going to throw it to a break, and we'll be right back with game 2 as soon as possible. Welcome back, everybody. Unfortunately, didn't get to witness the second game between the Saints and the Western, but we're back. We're gonna be heading into Game 3 relatively soon, as Western was victorious, and
Yep.
it was a pretty interesting game. I got to watch it for myself. We're gonna have some stats from the last game, and you're gonna see one player really stand out, the Aurelian Soul. For
We
the
had an
side
Aurelion
of
Soul?
Western. Yeah, look, he
No
went
way.
17-4 on that Aurelian Soul.
I want to see this. Well, okay, hold on. What is this draft?
Yeah, it was quite a draft. There was Asol, ADC, and Corky mid. There was some lane swap shenanigans. Saints tried to dive level 4 with 4 members. It went awfully, and then the
It was a
Asol.
long game too, right?
This was a game 2. Yeah, this was game.
No,
2.
like a long game.
It was a pretty long game. I mean, it looked close. Saints got some really miracle team fights, but I mean, the Asol was just so fed, it became really hard to play. Flowcon tried his everything to kill all he could, but once the Asol got really far ahead, it just became really, really hard.
Infinite scalers.
Yeah, infinite scalers. And I mean, Western able to take game 2, and it was pretty smooth sailing for them. Not many hiccups. St. Clair just kind of tried to fight back, but were not able to. And a great game from them. Now game 3, both teams really need to focus up because it's the all-deciding game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I want to see this Asol. Like, we didn't see it previously, but I want to see a game 2 with it in. I mean, hopefully the Saints don't ban it because I love seeing these odd picks. I was saying that we were just going to, like, stick to the meta, but this is about as far as possible from it. But this is probably due to the fact that these guys are playing both normal draft and fearless, right? So they're actually getting their feel for other characters in a more competitive environment. And they're like, we could mix and match here, or we just found out this really neat combo that actually works out really well. And it's nice to see these matches even come to standard draft.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking good for the Saints really early on, but they tried to tower dive bot with Kasanti TPing bot, and it was a whore. And then the Asol was just in the top lane farming up like 3 free waves, and we know Asol's early game's a bit shaky, but if he gets to just scale up for free, it becomes a disaster. And some mid-game fights just went in the favor of Western last game. So I'm pretty sure Saints were not ready for any Aurelion Soul lane swap shenanigans. Corky mid lane, like, definitely threw them off guard. So a great job by Western to pull off a very, very interesting draft. And now we're into draft for game 3. St. Clair gonna be on the blue side again, Western on the red side. It was Western on a blue side last game.
Okay,
So
okay.
it was an interesting draft. We didn't get to see it, unfortunately, but now we get to see game 3, and you could see Saints getting rid of that Rumble Jace, Western getting rid of 2 picks that we saw in game 1, the Nunu and the Olaf, and then the Vi. It's going to be the final ban
This
for
is
the
what we
Saints.
like to call a PTSD. They saw it, they will never want to see it again. That Nunu, that Olaf, just too terrifying. The Kalista, standard ban against the Saints. It just happens all the time. And here, going for the Aurora. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. Aurora feels kind of weak lately, but they will be picking up the Skarner as a counter pick here. Just going straight into that jungle, the Corky too. We might be seeing a repeat of game 2 with that Corky mid, Asol bot. I mean, hey, it's tried and tested. It works, apparently. And here, Saints answering with the Sinzao Gragas. Ricky on the Gragas, it's a pretty standard pick for him. He plays it quite often. And there's the Asol. Okay, let's go. I'm seeing something. This is looking good. The Saints have a lot more CC.
Yeah.
Right? They have Sinzao with the knock-up, Gragas with belly slam plus the ult. So Saints are going to be looking to get a lot of that CC focused on the Asol, because Asol, I like to imagine him as an AC 130, right? He's fire support. You have everybody charging in, and then you have Asol in the back line just yelling at everybody and getting them down and down and down, right? So he's fire support, and then you have your front line. So if you don't have that Asol flying and he's rooted or anything, now your front line's done.
Yeah. And this time we're going to see a lot more CC come out from the Saints, with the Nautilus in the support being picked up. Ambessa for Western was picked up, and then a Samira
That's your
for the
character!
Saints. That is my character, in fact. Not something I'd expect to see, but a Pantheon picked up for Western. I mean, this is complete chaos all across
Is this
the
solo
rift.
queue?
It looks like it, but I feel like the Samira's not the worst here. Nautilus has the knock-up, Gragas has the knock-up, Zinzao has the knock-up. So much for them to play off. It's just going to be, can they really blow up that ASOL to start off the fight? And then the Corki, then the damage really falls off for Western. But Samira, I mean, it's a hard pick to pull off. All Pantheon has to do is just press W on her and she's going to blow up.
Yeah, no, this is a draft. Like, this is one of the drafts of all time, if I've ever seen it. Like, none of these characters, except for, like, maybe Corki and Mbessa, could be considered, like, hyper meta. I mean, like, yeah, you have the Skarner, the Sinzao, and the Nautilus, which are picked often, but, like, they're not must picks. Everything here is just like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna pick our solo queue characters, I guess.
Yeah.
I love this. This is great. This is gonna be such a good game.
This should be an exciting game. The team fights are going to be explosive. I think, yet again, Western going for that ASO who was able to hard carry the last game. It was kind of the only real thing that threatened the Saints, and even if he wasn't that Giga fed, Saints found really good angles in team fights and were able to even kill the ASO quickly. But this time with a much more quick burst damage, the Saints have Aurora Samira. They can instantly eliminate an opponent. I think this game, they're much more prepared for this Aurelian Soul, but still, in the team fights, it's going to be important how quickly they can close that gap.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, with Aesol being like the main threat of DPS, mainly in that later game, the Corki is like, it's the other ADC, it's the other threat that you need to manage, and managing both the Aesol and the Corki means that you need to spread your CC, right, equally amongst the two. And Mbessa, meanwhile, is going to be tearing up both your front and back line with all those dashes. Because I like to say this with a lot of characters, but when there are enough dashes on a character, all point-and-click attacks now turn into skill shots, because you have to actually manage to hover your mouse over that character. And when that character doesn't spend a lot of time actually, you know, in the same spot, it's kind of hard to figure out where the hell they're going to go. I mean, granted, you just need to click on them, but they might dash 2 or 3 times before you actually get to click on them. So with characters like Mbessa, it gets really annoying really quickly.
Yeah, definitely important to keep that Mbessa in place. It's definitely going to be interesting to see if we see another lane swap. We did see it in game 2. And it didn't work out for the Saints. So I think Greg is a pick that does well into a lane swap, doesn't really struggle, can try and survive these
dives.
And it's against Aesol, you shouldn't be really dying early into the game. Last game they did. So this time I feel like the Saints can read the lane swap and go to their initial lanes. All it takes is one Nautilus hook for Samira to blow up an Aesol. So it's definitely going to be important for the Saints to get in their right lane assignments, as that was the downfall of game 2 for them.
Yeah, I mean, I know I heard Alonso kind of talking about it. Like, the lane swaps really make or break a lot of the Saints drafts. They need to predict those lane swaps and know where to go. And one of the things, because I didn't have a look on that Aesol, but what kind of build was he running? Was it like a full AP, or was it like a Roa type build?
It was a lot of HP and AP, so...
Okay, so it makes him harder to break,
Yeah,
right?
It was like Riftmaker, Leandri's, like...
Oh my god, okay.
It was a very tanky Aesol with a lot of damage.
All he was missing was Heartsteel.
Yeah, it was hard to kill him.
Okay. So yeah, and that's the other thing, because Aesol tends to build like that. I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, it sounds about right. Because Aesol, right, mages usually build a little bit of health, Aesol builds a lot of health, right? So because of that, he's a lot harder to just blow up instantly. Granted, when you take him out of flight, you mitigate most of the potential damage, but like, it's still pretty rough to deal with. So getting that lockdown onto the Aesol might not necessarily be a priority. Maybe they want to prioritize the Corki if he gets a little bit more fed. It's really going to depend on how the Saints want to approach their fights, right? Last time they had like a Vladimir. It's like, I can see what the plan was, right? Vladimir lanes into Aesol. Vladimir wins that 100% because he can just puddle whenever Aesol starts vomiting or whatever. So it works really, really well. But now they realize, oh, okay, it's an Aesol ADC. But now the real question is it again an Aesol ADC, or is it an Aesol mid?
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting matchups dependent. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be the Corki mid again because it worked so well for them last game with the Corki mid Aesol ADC. But as you said, either or works. I mean, it's an interesting flex pick that you basically never see, but I think Western have figured it out, and This is like kind of their secret pocket pick that we were talking about before the series. Asol is that pick for Western. The fact they've been able to make it work is just proven to be wonders for them in that second game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, these are Samira, Aesol, like these are characters that we don't usually see
Yeah.
whatsoever. Like ever. All right, we've been casting for what, like 2, 3 years?
A while, yeah.
When was the last time you saw an Aesol?
2 or 3 years ago.
Exactly. But here, as we're getting into this game, we are seeing an Aesol and a Samira, two characters that we have never seen in the past, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
So, this is something insane to see. And I really want to see these teams actually pull this off because I know they can. It's just a question of perfecting whatever mad idea they have. And here, as we're getting into game, you can see here the Saints are trying to get that macro down, going for that early invade, trying to get a ward in that top bush so that they can know if the lane swaps are happening.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case for Western. Saints fully invade the jungle. They did this in game one. They placed one ward in the jungle and one ward in the lane to know who is going where. And it's going to be Western answering ball lane. They're going to get a bunch of vision themselves to figure out who is going where. But doesn't look like their wards are as well thought out as the Saints. Saints can walk any two members from base straight up to that ball lane. I think Saints are going to try and make their way down there. They don't want to get the lane swap. This is just purely so Western can't get anywhere. But an important thing, you can see where the Pantheon is sitting, and it is Pantheon with the Aesol, I think, in the ball lane. Corky's mid lane. They're sitting in that bush. They're setting up for a quick ambush and maybe look to try and one-shot this Samira.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Aesol is deceptively strong in the early game, right? With that tap fire using the Arcane Comet. You can get some really good damage here. So Miracle and Leg are really gonna have to play it safe and not go through Tribrush. But here, it's about to happen, isn't it?
It's about to happen. Let's see how they decide to play. They should go into Samira, and they do. But the hook comes through. I mean, this isn't the worst. They need to CC this Aesol, but so much damage from this Nautilus Samira, as they're going to be able to find the first blood. Is there any CC for this Aesol, though? Yes, there is. Lig trying to get out. The flash is out in time, but it's going to be the Saints forced to back up. One more hook here for Miracle. Could be the kill on to this Aesol. A lot of summoners used, a lot of damage done. It's going to be Saints forced to recall though, so Aesol is going to have a huge XP lead to start the game.
Yep, and that XP is going to be crucial to getting the Aesol ahead. Because yeah, okay, there was a kill on to the Pantheon, but that's a pair of boots for Samira, right? It lets her get back into lane a little bit faster, and oh my god, Ricky, that's disgusting. I mean, he knows how to use the Gragas. He is a master at the Gragas, and just the way he trades on the top lane is fascinating. But as I was saying about the bot lane, you're looking at a slight gold advantage versus a massive XP lead, which is not something you want to take.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be that bot lane's, I'm assuming Saints, they want a perma fight there, and it's going to be Western just trying to hold them off, not let them find any angles, because Samira, very scaly champion, same as Olaf in game one, kind of needs to get ahead to be really useful.
He can't break even.
Yeah, when behind or be even not the strongest champion, but just very strong early game. Level 6 obviously gets a huge spike with that ultimate. As some trades here in the top lane. Ricky running low on the mana as the Mbessa has recovered to full health, but she was forced to back and TP. Ricky still has that TP, so a great start in the top lane for the Saints with that tier. Able to stay alive, catch some waves, can TP whenever, and he's going to have a nice gold lead here on this Mbessa.
Yep, definitely going to be looking good here on the bot lane. We can see like there's a little bit of a skirmish going on. And this is what we were talking about, right, with that XP lead. Aesol right now is at level 2, but so is his opponent. So, like, his time frame to fight, right, where he has that level advantage is gone.
It's right now.
Yeah. Now it's level 2. He's got level 3, which is where his XP advantage was. This is where we want, like, a gank to come out. But are we seeing anything here in the bot lane? I don't know if there's a fight yet. Ooh, they're just poking each other out right now. I thought it wasn't. Yeah, Skarner was there. What happened?
I mean, Skarner's walking back there, and the Saints have to be careful here. Miracle hooks in. Not the best hook there onto the minion, and I think he is going to pay for that one with his life lig. Just has to be careful. Will flash out, so no kills coming through here. But yeah, Miracle hooking a minion is never a good idea.
No.
You have to hit that ASO, otherwise the hook doesn't get any of the value needed.
No, and the worst part is if he hooks like Pantheon,
It's not
that's
that.
counterintuitive because now you're bringing him closer to your Samira, right?
Oh, they
So
might look to dive here. I don't think a dive works here. I mean, they should try and one-shot this Samira, but this Pantheon is going to take a lot of damage. Lig able to stay alive for the time being. Does he have his E? No, he doesn't get the combo off in time still. It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade, and there was a kill in the top lane as well. They picked up the Ambessa.
Samira got the
So yeah, Samira got the double kill, which is massive. Aso got one. Skarner got one. Overall, a good play for the Saints across the map because they picked up the Ambessa without TP in the top lane.
Plus, I believe that is feats of strength heading to the first feat of strength heading to the Saints with those 4 kills. Well, 3 kills. So yeah, when you're looking at how this is playing out, the Saints are definitely a little bit ahead. But again, Asol's a ticking time bomb. You can't let this guy get gold. You can't let this guy get stacks. Just period. And as we can see here, he's already got a blasting wand plus a ruby crystal. So he's working on that Roa, Rod of Ages. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly this Asol really gets online and how the Saints will really play around that mid game. Because mid game is kind of like that part where Asol's kind of weak, right? His early game is very strong. These mid games, like he gets a little bit of a power spike when he gets the infinite, his infinite cube. But other than that, like there isn't that much. In terms of power spikes, but then once you get into that late game where he has a lot of stacks, it's different. Ooh, yeah, little
this is from Miracle Pantheon though is here as well, but Maddie, he is here to respond. Huge ult there by the Aurora, so slow are the Mustangs here. Lynx should be the first one falling down over to Flocon, but Asol gets the solo kill on Samira in the bot lane. Not sure how that happened, as again, we're going to see this Asol just going to be so far ahead of this Samira now, 50 CS, and he's going to be in the XP lead. He's going to have his item very, very soon. And yet again, it looks like the Asol is causing big problems for Lig here.
Yeah, and once that Catalyst Javion is purchased by Asol, he's not going to have any mana problems either, right?
Yeah.
Because it's basically an infinite mana regen system as long as you're taking damage, right? Which, when you're in the bot lane, you take damage, period. So it's really, really good for Asol to just get that locked in early, doesn't need to worry about mana, because that's his biggest threat, right, in the lane, it is mana. So once he gets, like, that mana flow ban, plus he gets Kalash Vions, he's going to be good. But here, the Mustangs are getting the first dragon traded out by the Grubs. So Saints are kind of looking to try and get more of that auto attack damage. Granted, they are the ones with the ADC and with most of the auto attackers, right? So that does make sense for them to prioritize it. But that is an Infernal Dragon, which is extra damage, which when you put it on an infinite scaler, that can stack up really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, pretty even game state. Saints have the gold lead overall. The gold's on who you'd want it on: Samira, Aurora, Gragas. So their gold distribution has been played out very well, but on the flip side, Asol's up 20 CS. Ricky and the Ambessa very, very even on the CS. Maddie and the enemy jungle Skarner are pretty even, as well as in the mid lane, Aurora has a kill. Pretty even CS there. Well, so great CSing by just both sides here. It's just going to be the team fights that I think are going to be what determine this game.
Yeah, and when you're looking at those team fights, the Saints do have a pretty strong one, but so do the Mustangs, right? There's a lot of AoE on both sides. I mean, I'm looking at, Corki, I'm looking at Ambessa, I'm looking at Asol. That's a lot of AoE going down. Technically, Skarner, too, has a good amount of AoE, right, with that Q.
The ult.
Sorry, what was it?
The ult?
Yeah, the ult, too. That's a really good AoE stun on 3 people, right, at maximum, which is a lot of people.
And then you Asol ult.
Yep, Asol ult too. It's a lot of AoE, right? He just drops the sun on you, like, what are you going to do about that? But then you're looking at the Saints, right? They have the Gragas ult. They have Xin Zhao, right, when become lightning. That's a really good attack that has a really good AD ratio and can pierce through a lot of opponents. Aurora ultimate. You've got Samira, which is Spinbot 101, other than Katarina. And then you've got Nautilus, which can hit a lot of people with his ult, right, if he hits that backline with it. Plus, I mean, granted, he's got his roots and his hook.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of AoE and a lot of CC going down on both teams here. So they are able to do a lot with what they have. It's just a question of who uses it more effectively. And I think you have a pretty good wombo combo when you. Oh,
Volkan tries to stop the back, and Pantheon gonna be able to
Oh!
hit that snipe. Not too sure what Volkan was thinking, walking up to the Pantheon. He burns his flash and just dies for no reason. It's just a silly misplay that shouldn't happen.
No, I mean that's just a Pantheon moment. You get within range of that stun, and you're gone.
And now there's gonna be a kill onto Lig, who's in the river here. I mean,
Yep.
Saints just kind of falling apart in the mid
They
game.
need a team fight. They need a team fight. They're getting picked off too much here. This is what's happening with the Saints, and they can't let that happen. Because that's what their team composition is made for, right? But they're going up like Corky's a decent duelist, all things considered. You've got Pantheon, one of the best duelists in the game. You can't just walk through river because you will get jumped, and we're seeing it now. The Saints, like, they have Aurora plus Gragasalt, right? You have a really good combo with those two. So if you can get those team fights to start, you're going to get something good. But they just need to get there. And here, look at it. They are looking for those team fights. They're setting up vision. They're trying to sort their dominance onto that Baron pit. And we're about to see this.
Oh, nice hook there by Miracle. Ult comes out immediately as well. But the Ace gets out, drops the ultimate onto a couple. Saints have numbers here for a little bit, but flashes come out from Western here. They're going to be able to stay alive, and the Samira rotated to mid lane. But in response to that, Corky stayed bot lane. He's picking up free plates, free waves. It's a bad little skirmish there from the Saints. They don't get any kills. They do get a couple of flashes, and they will be able to pick up the 6 grubs. But, I mean, now the real threat here is going to be the Corky, who's getting so fed down in that ball lane.
Oh, hold on here. Flowcon about to get jumped by Acel there. Yeah, Acel does have the Rylas available, so that's a very annoying slow that goes down, right? Mainly once it gets into those later stages, right, when the black hole is just massive, everybody gets slowed, and it's not a fun team fight to take. Plus, it makes all of those AoE abilities even more effective because you're always getting pulled together, and it's really annoying. Because you can't spread out. So here Acel is just trying to get as much Stardust as possible, get that CS up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Acel have like double his opponent's CS by the end of this.
Yeah, definitely important for this Acel to keep CSing up, Lig up in this top lane. Dodges the Abessa ult, but the Pantheon's coming through as well, and Lig, is he too far up here? The Saints are trying to fight, and they do find the kill onto the Skarner, but low health bars here for the Saints. No Acel ultimate, but the Corky's gonna fly in. The Valkyrie's right there. They take down the Nautilus. Samira is in the backlines, and that's not where you want to be. Maddie gonna fall. Down goes Lig as well, using both of his summoners. Another great fight here for Western, as they get a 3-for-1, only paying with their Skarner's life.
Yeah, no, that is expensive to the Saints here, as we can see. The gold lead has pretty much been gapped. The Mustangs are in the lead, although not by much. But what's most important is the fact that Acel is, he's got 4 kills on the board now. 109 CS. He's got the Magic Pen boots. He's got the Rylas. He's got a Dark Seal with, I believe, 6 stacks there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 6 stacks. So he is looking very good for himself. But it is interesting that he went for the Rylas before Roa and then went for that Magic Dust.
Yeah, I mean, Ryla's first is just really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I rushed it too,
Yeah.
but I usually would build a Catalyst of Eons before that, you know, just for the extra mana regen. But this is interesting.
And now we might see a fight towards this dragon. I mean, the Acel has the ultimate, the big one, ready to drop down, and the Saints, I don't think they can fight this one, but they're gonna try. They're gonna TP down here. Let's see how this fight's gonna kick off.
Here
Ricky
comes the
gonna get
sun.
taken down first. Acel gets the ult off, but Samira's still relatively healthy. They do find the Corky. The Pantheon falls as well for the Zhao. Lig can't do any damage. Will get instantly taken out by the Ambessa on the flank, who gets a double kill, and it's only Flowcon. It's all falling apart here for for the Saints. It's an ace for the Western Mustangs, and they're going to take a huge lead in this third game.
I mean, look, the Saints have a good excuse. He dropped the sun on them. Like, what are you gonna do about that, right? At the end of the day, it's look. The Saints are kind of behind right now, and then they took a fight against an ASOL who is fed, very fed.
Yeah.
So once you see that happen, you're saying, okay, not only are the Saints behind, not only are they getting pretty much crushed, they're infinite scalers ahead. This is gonna be a really rough time.
Oh, they might find a kill back. I mean, it's only Ricky and a Miracle here in the ball lane. They can't find anything, and I mean, I think now the game's just really hard to play for the Saints. This ASOL has 2 items.
Yep.
As Ricky, he's trying to find something, but I don't think this is the best fight here now that the ASOL's arrived. Leandri is going to proc and slow everything down. I think the Saints just don't really know what to do against this ASOL. They must not have practiced or been ready for it. As they're going to land a hook here onto this corner, but there's the 3-man ultimate, and the ASOL is just standing there, firing away. The Pantheon ult comes through. The Godlike is there onto Maddie. Feels like the Saints have run out of tricks up their sleeves. Ricky gonna be going down as well. And now the snowball just keeps continuing. I mean, a couple kills here for Lig. Has that ultimate, but does 0 damage. It's only Flocon left alive as he gets hit into the wall here. Doesn't have enough damage to pick up this Skarner. And it's gonna be another ace here for Western as they have completely blown this game wide open. Oh, Crackdown did miss on that cube, but lands the drive. Flocon trying to flash away will fall down. Another ace for the side of Western as they've completely taken control of this game.
Alright, so, one lesson that we must always learn is, when dealing with an infinite scaler, don't let him get ahead. ASOL has 9 kills, a 700 gold bounty, and fully stacked Dark Seal. Make that a Magi's. So, this is when we usually, in a solo queue game, 1FF. Because, matter-of-factly, the Western Mustangs know that their ASOL is fed, which means that they are protecting this man more than the President of the United States right now, alright? There is nobody more secure than this ASOL.
Miracle not looking to secure. I mean, at this point in time, I don't know what the Saints can do. Anyone that walks up gets one-shot by this Pantheon, and the follow-up. I mean, I just don't see a way the Saints can get back into this game. I feel like they should have just banned out the ASOL after game 2. It's clear that they're not ready for this pick, and it's just been stomping them 2 games in a row now.
This is just a knowledge check, honestly. And this is what I love about, like, this the Mustangs. They took out this pick, they're like, okay, they've never played against this before, and ASOL is such a unique character too, right?
Oh, we see it find the top lane. Flocon gonna walk too far up. Feels like Saints are mentally checked out of this one. They're just dying left and right, and the Western just gonna take whatever they want on the map. They took the Rift Herald, they have the 2 dragons. They want to get to a soul. I don't even know if that's gonna happen at the pace this game's going as. Now it's a 5k gold lead for Western, who scale much better than the Saints.
Yeah, and I'd love to see how many Stardust stacks that ASOL has right now, right? Because this is one of the most... Oh my god, look at that damage.
Another fight. Lig is dead. Miracle is dead. Saints are falling apart. The Rift Herald gonna get popped mid, and no grubs, but no grubs needed here for Western. They knew their strong side as Maddie gonna be next to fall. It feels like every time we see a Saints member on our screen, they are dying. And I mean, there's just not much for them to do. I think this draft from Western, it's just a lot stronger. The execution has been a lot better, and the ASOL now on 22 stacks on that Magi's. I mean, it's gonna take so much for the Saints to get back into this one.
You know what I would have wanted to see from the Saints instead of the Samira?
Anything.
Like a Talon or something.
Well, they need an ADC.
Just an assassin or something. Just dive the ASOL non-stop. Like, you know what would have been great? An elite support there.
Elite support, yeah.
You have the stun, so you can stop the ASOL from even when he's just standing still, right? And then on top of that, you have your dive ability. You can get some missing health damage in. Like, it's a great support pick for this. Mainly going into that ASOL, because you can stall out ASOL Scream in that early game. So, I think it might have been a good pick, but here again, the Saints don't know how to play into this. Like, I'm betting you that after this game, they're going to go into scrims and try and figure out how the hell they can counter this.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky gonna fall again as all over the map is this Pantheon. Up 2 levels on Miracle. Corky's up 2 levels. ASOL. Oh, ASOL is even with everybody. I mean, so many level advantages here for Western. And all their members need to have gold on them do. Look at that ASOL. I mean, such a strong build. They have
He's
the
got 3 items, right? That's a Blackfire Torch.
yeah, and feats of strength online for Western as well.
Oh, that's
So
what it was.
the
Okay, I
boot.
thought that was a Blackfire Torch on
No.
the shoes. I'm like, what?
As we're gonna see another fight kick off here, the Pantheon gonna start the fight by going to the Maddie. Look at the ASOL, who's gonna be falling down. Lig able to one-shot the ASOL and stay alive. Let's see if the Saints have the follow-up damage for the rest of this team
Corky's
fight.
still
The
alive.
Pantheon's gonna flash onto Lig, and that's what's gonna happen on the Samira. As now they look to chase the rest down. Nice stun there coming out from the Skarner. The turret is not there. That's just a visual bug. As they took that one down earlier, but another good fight from Western, but the Saints did get a shutdown on their Samira. They were able to one-shot the ASOL.
And Samir got the gold?
Samira got the gold,
Oh, okay.
but even though all that happened, still going to be the ASOL on 18 stacks. Giga fed the third dragon. Go to Western. Saints had a bit of a decent fight there. I'm not sure how they found the ASOL, but they're going to need a lot more of that to get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, that fight, you saw it. The black hole was massive. When ASOL dropped the sun, it was even bigger. And that airborne was so annoying to deal with because all that AoE is just, it hurts so much. And yeah, granted, they got the pick on the ASOL, but afterwards, the Corky's still alive. Like,
Yeah.
Corky deals a lot of damage, guys. He's still got, what, like an item and a half plus boots? So, like, he's definitely a threat when present. Granted, he's not as fed as ASOL, but he's still present. He's still a threat. So even if he is alive, you need to take out both to get rid of most of their damage, right? And then you were looking at... Oh, wait, are they looking for an Atacon here?
I mean, they're looking to set up vision around it, and I think it's a great play. You're far behind. You want to force something. You don't want to let Western control the entire map, and this is not going to be a quick Otacon. They do not
No.
have a lot of DPS. Their team comp's kind of a dive comp, and the game might end here. I mean, Western are in plenty of time to contest this. ASOL right over this wall, can Q over it. Look how
Wow.
much damage he does to Ricky. They get the Otacon, so let's see how they played it. It is the Flowers one, not the GA, so they're going to sacrifice Miracle, and it looks like they're just going to try and run for their lives. They're going to sacrifice Maddie as well.
07 Maddie.
They do get the Otacon, but is it really worth it? I'm not sure. They lose a couple members. And now Western's going to march forward, pick up a lot more gold. Saints have to be careful here. I mean, they're walking up way too far, as it's going to be the Samira falling down.
Yep.
The stun comes down onto Flocon. Ricky can't move because of the ASOL. And Western pushing forward, looking to finish off the game nice and early here. They're going to take that bot tier 2, get a lot of gold. Ricky trying to take the mid wave, but will look to get out with his life. I think he'll be able to get out. No, he won't. ASOL's flying through.
Oh,
No,
wait.
he will get out.
Gragas is a pretty speedy boy.
Yeah, he won't get out.
No. Feats of Strength. Duh.
Yeah.
They got more movement speed. But yeah. At least the Saints did get Atacon. But honestly, is that going to save the game? I don't know.
Doesn't look like it. There is the Mbessa picking up the Aurora. It's all falling apart here for the Saints. It's now a 10k gold lead for Western, who have really turned this series around really quickly with this ASOL pick.
Yep. Well, at least to a certain extent, Samira is coming back. 2 items. She's got the collector. She's got the IE, right? So at least you've got that 50% crit coming down, which is what a lot of ADCs rely on, right? That 50% critical strike chance. But I'm not an expert when it comes to Samira. I'm going to be honest. You're kind of
We're
the
cooked.
Samira guy.
If I'm Samir in this game, we're cooked.
We're cooked.
There's
All
no
right, we're cooked.
Like, you're down 2 levels. You don't, even if you land the full combo on ASOL, you don't even know if you're going to be able to kill him. All he has to buy is that Seeker's Arm Guard, which he has now. And at
Yep.
this point in the game, Samira is practically useless.
Okay. Plus 25 Benjai stacks.
Yeah, that also helps.
just to rub it in pretty much. But yeah, no. ASOL is just such a force of nature at this point.
We're gonna see a fight kick off. They're gonna target Warren G here. Ricky gonna be the first one to fall, and you can see nobody's touching the backline of Western. They do pick up the Ambessa, but it might be a pentakill here for this Asol. Gets a 3 Pantheon, steals the 4th one as Flocon trying to get out. Will get ulted down, and there is the ace coming up from Western. They're gonna look to close out this game right here. 24 seconds. I don't know if they'll have enough damage, but with the core key, I think they might. And just what a performance here from Western, really turning things around after getting absolutely slaughtered in game 1.
Yeah, no, game 1, they said, all right, cool. This didn't work, let's try something else. They pulled something completely out of left field, and look at it working now. But they don't seem to be ending right now.
Yeah.
Very menacing Nautilus right there. They won't even go for the Nexus turrets, you know? Nothing like that. Like, yeah, I know they respawn and whatnot, but...
They don't need to. Baron's up, Soul's up in over a minute. It's Cloud Soul, I mean...
Yeah, they might as well.
Western can literally do whatever they like, can take whatever objective they
yeah.
want, and Saints can't even walk
No.
anywhere near these objectives without falling. They're going to try and clear some vision, but I promise you, as soon as this Asol and Pantheon are back near the mid lane, this is all going to be Western's territory.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Western has absolutely no rush to close out this game, right? Because they have an Asol. Like, you physically cannot outscale them, right? Because Saints have no infinite scalers. So, one way or another, if they just stall out this game, they're going to win. So, the Saints, who have a relatively early game-centered comp, right?
Oh, they look for a pick onto the Pantheon. Are they able to find it? Yes, they are. The Samira trying to get the ultimate online, but Lig doesn't get the best combo there. Now the Asol is in this fight, picks up a couple. Ricky going to be the next to fall as Corki kills everyone on the flip side of the map, and there it is. The ace comes through yet again for Western. Asol trying to outdo what he did last game.
Dash goes.
He's 22 and 18. I mean, that is insanity. 38 out of the 42 kills this Asol has been involved in, and just a masterful performance. A beautiful job by Western, as they're going to take the victory in this game 3, and they're going to take the series 2-1, much deserved off of the back of this Asol play.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a reverse sweep, and I love it, honestly. As they wrap up this game, one of the main things that I want to point out, like, yeah, okay, Asol did really, really well. But I think that the reason why Asol did so well in this game was his team. Because I don't know if you guys have ever played Asol in solo queue, okay? It is torturous to play Asol in solo queue because you get repeatedly ganked. And then if you're not getting repeatedly ganked, you're getting solo killed, right? You don't have an early game as Asol, period. So them placing him in the ADC role with one of the most aggressive supports known to man, Pantheon, they said, okay, you know what? We're going to get this Asol ahead instantly. We're going to point and click CC, and we're going to win. That was the game plan. And once Asol gets ahead just a teensy tiny bit, now he's the president. We play Protect the President. And remember what I said before this game? How Asol plays as fire support? Yeah, he's basically an AC 130. You have the front line pushing up, and then you've got fire support as Asol just flying over and screaming at you. And because he deals so much damage on that, you can't do anything, right? You're slowed, you're having your magic resist shredded, it's percent max health damage. Like, what do? You're getting pulled in by a black hole and he's dropping the sun on you. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's very strong, and maybe Saints will look at it as a learning experience. Maybe that's something they pick up themselves when they play against some very, very strong teams. And, you know, they just pocket pick it, and then the strong teams are like, oh my goodness, why is there Asol in this game, and why is it so strong? But, you know, we have some team stats before we close things out. So let's take a look at what went down in this game 3. I mean, we don't have to state the obvious. Asol 22 and 18. Pantheon, a big part of that. Lynx 5 and 19. 19 assists, 28 assists for the Skarner. I mean, that is a lot of kills. And you look on the side of the Saints, I mean, not the best KDAs there. Everyone was falling across the board. Bit of a visual bug. Miracle didn't actually have 7 kills. So it just has the same style line as Samira, as a Lig. And it's just a rough game here for the Saints. I mean, Western much deservedly pick up that third game, and Good win for their season. Obviously, it was number one team in Canada against number two, or at least from what I heard from the players. And you could definitely see game one, Saints looked like the best team. They easily won, and
Yep.
then this ASOL pick just completely threw them apart. And I don't think the Saints were ready at all whatsoever.
That's the thing with collegiate is Saints play meta. They know meta. When you pull something that isn't meta, or you pull something that's just like completely out of left field, they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's like a quack bang grenade, all right? You look at it and you're like, is that a rubber duck? That's a rubber duck, and you're completely thrown off, right? Same thing happens here. There's an ASOL there. What's an ASOL doing in my draft? They realize that. They realize we don't have a counter to that. Like, what are we supposed to do? So now they need to learn on the fly and adapt. And the Saints, that takes time to do, right? So if they don't already know what to do against an ASOL and say, okay, we're going to do X, Y, or Z, they're just going to have to figure something out. They tried the Samira. It didn't work this time. So they're going to hop into scrims. I'm betting you tonight, tomorrow night, something like that. And they're just going to be like, okay, cool. Guys, how do we beat an ASOL?
Well,
What
they
do?
have
What are our picks?
they have a LAN all day tomorrow, so
Yeah.
they're gonna have time.
They're going to get a lot of practice.
Yeah, they're gonna get a lot of practice. But with all that being said, that's gonna be it for us today. So we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you to our sponsor. We have St. Clair CRC, St. Clair Alumni Associations, Tim Hortons, Subway, and Alienware. Thank you to everyone in the back who made the stream happen. It's our Saints esports class running this whole broadcast. So thanks to them for setting this up. Gabriel, thank you for joining me
Thank you
up
for having me.
here. It was a blast of a cast. To not miss any Saints related content, follow us on all of our social media platforms and stay up to date as we post on there daily. We have a couple exciting days coming up on this weekend. We have a League of Legends and a Rocket League LAN starting on Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. each. So stay tuned for that. Don't miss it. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching and have yourselves a wonderful night.